so important to master the art of letting go, Source is talking about. What it really has to do with is that the true nature of Source, of God, of the multiverse is that it seeks to expand, and it's always seeking to expand through you. What does that mean? Naturally, you're going to have to release people, places, and things, which are basically attachments. Why humans really struggle with attachment is because typically we're attached to something when we don't believe that what we're releasing is going to be replaced or replenished with a higher reflection. Now, this is a very important collective theme right now because timelines are just accelerating, right? They're getting faster. The particles, the atoms, the molecules of our time space reality are literally speeding up, becoming closer to the speed of light. So when that happens, that breaks up density, that breaks up energy. That means you are going to experience quantum leaps where in a week, in a day, everything's different. New people are dropping in. If you don't know how to let go of what's holding you back, or what's no longer a true frequency match and reflection, it's going to be really difficult for you. Because not only does Source want to expand, your own higher self is choosing what I'm calling the ascension timeline, the ascension timelines. So if your higher self is choosing the ascension timelines, but you're trying to hold on to people and stay in places that are not in congruence with those realities, you're going to be in a state of inner conflict, which is what I'm seeing with a lot of people. Reality is trying to change only to get better, but because there's this underlying belief that potentially it's going to be worse, or your life is going to be worse without this particular person or this particular situation, you're holding on to things that on a frequency level are doing nothing for you. When I'm looking at this energetically in terms of why we can be so attached, it stems back to that core root trauma that we spoke about in the past a few weeks ago. It's actually distrust in Source. When we don't trust Source, when we don't trust Creator, that's when we're usually in resistance as opposed to being in a mode of receiving. And receiving is simply about, I trust Source. Receiving is simply, I know that the Creator is only trying to expand through me to experience more potentialities, more infinity, more possibilities. So it's safe for me to let this go so I can receive my next highest reflection. That's receiving. That's true co-creation with Source. It's being able to surrender to the knowingness that infinite intelligence has already pinpointed, located, selected with you and your higher self the next best thing to experience. That's the only thing that's happening, is that you're continuously shifting and sorting through possibilities that are going to bring you the most joy. But when we're attached, aka in resistance, now we're not experiencing our highest joy. We're experiencing something that maybe brought us joy or peace or inspiration or excitement, but we outgrew it. and typically we're always going to be outgrowing our reflections on some level. Now, there are going to be certain connections and things in our life that keep pace with that continual expansion for this current incarnation. And if that is the case, there will be no diminished feeling or frequency of excitement and growth. What are you holding on to and why? It always goes back to a core belief in lack. And what is lack? Lack is the belief that you are currently without something, or that you will be without something or go without something in the future. Lack, distrust, attachment. Source is saying we would call that the holy trinity of hell on earth. You creating your own personal hell. And what is hell? Simply a state of consciousness where you are disconnected from love and from the highest experience of yourself. Distrust, meaning I don't trust that source is working in my highest favor. Attachment, I'm attached to reflections that I've outgrown. And resistance, I'm resisting expansion. Now, this existing expansion, I want you to really tune into the frequency of why this is so important. If the entire multiverse of all that is, omniversal consciousness, is continuously seeking exploration of the unknown and wanting to expand, and you are in resistance, meaning you're not going with the organic evolutionary rhythm of expansion, you're living in conflict with the cosmos. You're literally living in conflict with the cosmos. You're off rhythm. You're off balance. It's not in harmony. Harmony looks like I can sense that there's something more because of how I feel. My feelings, right? Feelings are energetic translations. Emotions are energetic translations. Our higher self is letting us know something. They carry information. They carry answers and wisdom, but we don't listen to our emotions. So your emotions are telling you something right now. Something's not fully in harmonic rhythm and resonance with me and my field and my higher intelligence, my oversoul. What am I hanging on to and why? Oh, I believe that if I let this go, sources downloading some of the most common beliefs and programs, I will be alone. That's the biggest one. I will be alone. I will die alone. I won't be loved. I won't be accepted. I won't get this thing that I think that I need in order to live and breathe. Now, this is what we want to collapse you back into. If you are source and source is you, and we are, that's what they're saying, and we are together indefinitely, infinitely, and we are loving you unconditionally and supporting you to materialize and actualize your highest unfolding, where and how and when could you ever go without, unless you were creating that illusion for yourself? It's always you creating the illusion of separation. Lack and separation go hand in hand. If lack is, I don't have it, I don't believe that I have it, or that I will have it, or that I ever had it, that means you're in a state of separation from the very thing that you desire or you're asking for. But that's not true. The true frequency of source is that it's always in union, total, complete union with all that is, infinitely and eternally. There is no separation. How I like to explain this is, when we are experiencing a certain time space reality, which simply means we are in a plane of awareness or density or dimension where we're experiencing time and we're experiencing space. Source does not experience, source experience is time and space, but also exists outside of time and space simultaneously. Okay. So time is simply a measure of distance, or it could be a measure of distance. This is very multidimensional. We're simply giving you one dimensional way to look at it. The time that it takes me to get from point A to point B, that's time. But if source is in point A and point B simultaneously, it's not experiencing any time. So what does that mean? That means it's in perpetual union with every single timeline at all times, all at once, simultaneously. That is source. That is the field of all that is, right? So if source is in total union with every version of you that you could possibly experience, that means separation is an illusion. Now, it's okay that we're experiencing separation. We chose to experience separation, and separation comes with a lot of benefits. Slowing down time, experiencing time comes with a lot of benefits. It gives us room and space to have certain lessons that otherwise we wouldn't have. However, You are a being of expansion. And when you block your own expansion, you feel bad. We have to heal as a collective this core illusion of lack. There is no lack. And if you've been listening to me for some time, I say all the time, even if you are creating an experience that you dislike, you are still abundant with that reality. You're always abundant with reality. You're always abundant with consciousness. You're always abundant with energy that has arranged itself into a certain image, holographic picture, which you call your life. You're always abundant with it. You could use that right there to choose to be in an infinite state of abundance. What happens when you're in an infinite state of abundance? It doesn't matter who's in my life. It doesn't matter what I have to let go. It doesn't matter who's dropping in and what's dropping. It's all just abundance shifting and changing and morphing into higher versions of what actually brings me joy. But if you don't believe that things are changing so they can be better, you're going to hold on to the reflections that are no longer bringing you joy, or maybe they never really did. And you were attached to them out of a unworthiness, believing that that's the only thing that was ever possible and available for you. Okay. Let me tune in here with some of the comments on Instagram. So nobody here has a manifestation problem, Source is saying. This is really cool here. Everyone here is a master manifester, because everything that you're experiencing right now, you manifested it. You commanded energy and consciousness to morph and shift and reorganize and recalibrate particles and subatomic matter to present what is your physical reality right now. You did that. Now, whether you were consciously doing that or unconsciously doing that is more so in question. But you are a master manifester. Why is it important that we tell you you're a master manifester? Because many of you are holding on to programs from your childhood that make you believe that you're not a good person, or you haven't done good things, or you don't have anything to offer. Old programs that we are releasing now, because the foundation of manifesting things that you like and enjoy, meaning no longer being in self-sabotage, the foundation of that is believing that you are a good person and you deserve good things. This goes back to the original severance with Source, not trusting Source. But this is what Source is showing me. You don't trust Source based on what we don't want to use the word broken, as to bind those people to those versions of themselves, but people who were separated from their true consciousness, their highest state of consciousness, and what they projected onto you, what they told you, how they made you feel, that created distrust. Wasn't Source. And of course, we chose here to be here and be in this sort of spiritual amnesia. So recognizing that, one, you chose spiritual amnesia, and two, you chose a place where people were not going to be in their highest state of consciousness. This is going to help you to realize that it was never actually Source not giving you the things that you wanted. It was never the universe saying you weren't good enough to have something. It's just the programs. So what does that mean? If you want to accelerate your reality and quantum shift so far into a version of reality that it's like, is this even possible? The first step is, do I trust Source? That's foundational. Do I trust that creation itself is only expanding for the best of all? Because when that becomes the core that replaces the core belief in lack, you're now operating in harmonious rhythm with all of the multiverse, with all of creation, with omniversal awareness. So this is the real issue. Napoleon Hill spoke about this, I believe. He called it hypnotic rhythm. There's a hypnotic rhythm. You go to one neighborhood and everyone in that neighborhood thinks the same way, having similar experiences, probably go to the same places, right? They're experiencing the same grid. I like to see these as different pockets of matrix grids. They're on the same grid. Then let's say you go to another place, call it, I think Napoleon Hill used this example, Fifth Avenue, Manhattan. And all of those people are connected to a very different grid. They're experiencing a different reality. They're co-creating a different reality together. They have the same thoughts. They have the same beliefs. They have the same programming, whether that be positive or negative programming. So what grid are you plugged into? Now, what's happening is your higher self is trying to pull you out of that same damn grid. That's why those reflections are no longer resonant, but you're attached. You want to stay in the lower density grid when reality is trying to shift so you can be in the higher density grid. So what happens when you are operating in this hypnotic rhythm? That's what it was while we were getting into that whole thing. Hypnotic rhythm is the background rhythm that is attracting your reality on autopilot. It's your energetic set point. Your energetic set point is comprised of what you predominantly believe about reality. And if you look around yourself, the people in your life and the places you're going and the things that you're doing, they simply reflect the same hypnotic rhythm. The thing about hypnotic rhythm is that it can be very strong. This is why it can take we don't want to project this out and say a long time, but this is why people experience time delays in their reality where they are getting into manifestation. They are learning certain things. They are working on their vibration in their thoughts and their beliefs and their habits, but it seems like nothing's changing, nothing's moving. It seems like I'm consuming all of this information. I'm putting all of my energy into this, but nothing's changing. Well, you had a hypnotic rhythm that you had been operating on your entire life. It's going to take some time for that rhythm to get back on track with the omniversal rhythm, the rhythm and the flow and the way that things work. So, and I really want to share this because I've been there in my life where it seems like you're doing everything and it's like continuously a shit show. I just want to let everybody know it gets better. We talk a lot about negative karma. What about the positive karmic credit? And what this basically means is that everything that you're doing right now, I can 100% attest to this, it will catch up with you. So keep going. Don't be distracted by what you're seeing in the physical. It's all just energy. It's going to take a little bit of time for that physical energy. Let's think about physicality. It's simply quantum particles that are vibrating very, very slow. So it's really dense. It's physical. It's solid. It's matter. How are you going to break that matter up? Raising your frequency, raising the frequency of the reality that you're experiencing. But those particles are going to accelerate. They're going to accelerate. They're going to get faster. They're going to speed up, approaching the speed of light. Faster, faster, faster. And then what does that do? It breaks matter up. Things start to change. That's when you're in 4D, you're in 5D. Things you're experiencing 3D simultaneously. So things are still solid, but where your reality is vibrating is really in higher dimensional planes. So something really interesting is coming through right now on why it might seem like you are raising your vibration, but maybe some negative things are coming in very fast. We want to just explain this, what's happening energetically. If you're raising your vibration and energetic momentum is increasing and expanding, that means that you are becoming more magnetic. And that first, before the full turnaround in energy happens, you're playing out some old vibrational baggage and karma. What do we mean by that? If I start practicing certain thoughts, patterns, and beliefs today, it doesn't neutralize everything that I've been thinking and doing energetically for my whole life. That energy has to neutralize and play itself out over time. So at first, acceleration will be disguised as stagnation. We're going to say that again. At first, acceleration will be disguised as stagnation or things getting worse. This is the most difficult part of ascension. I just want to be completely honest, and it can last a few years. If you're in that energy right now, you've been at it for a few years, this is your ascension mastery training. This is when you do graduate fully into the fifth dimension. This is what gives you your ascended master stripes, because you became an unconditional being. What do we mean by that? When you're experiencing an outward reality and picture that you don't like, that is really difficult to maneuver, but on the inside, you find peace. You know who you are. You don't let it shake you. You see it for what it is, an opportunity for mastery, and you keep going, and you keep accelerating, and you get stronger, and you get wiser. And now you don't even need the outward picture to change, because you mastered the vibration of abundance and peace on the inside, and you're operating in total neutrality, which is just unconditional acceptance of all that presents itself. That is what grants you access to 5D and beyond. You have to go through it. There's no getting around it. So acceptance is a very beautiful frequency, because when you accept something, you don't push against it. If I accept something, I'm not resisting it. I'm simply saying this comes with the job, right? This comes with the experience that I signed up for. This just comes with it. And in acceptance, things can be easier, they can flow smoother. But if you're constantly trying to fight that reality, you're trying to resist that reality, it's just going to be really difficult. So we're trying to soothe you into a place of remembering, knowing that it's all going to be okay. It's just taking some time because of the dimension that you exist in. It takes time. And it's also contractual. Can I master peace without the things that I've been programmed and conditioned to be attached to? Now, what we want to drop into your awareness, this is really important, is that most of the things that you desire, most of them are implanted desires by lower dimensional portions, vibrations. Shadow beings, entities, whatever you want to call them. Source likes to call them lower vibrational portions of all that is. You want things, you don't even know why you want them. But maybe you see other people that have them, and then these energies are just irritating you and getting you to entertain a state of lack. Start asking yourself, do I really want that? Or has society programmed me to believe that I want that? Because there's a difference between a desire that comes from source and a desire that comes from your ego. A desire that comes from your ego is going to come with more attachment. A desire that comes from your soul and that comes from source is going to come with the invigorating excitement and thrill of a potential unfolding. That's it. Not because you're attached to needing that particular thing, but because you are so excited and overjoyed that that's a possibility and you can't wait to experience it. That's the difference. What are the things that you believe that you want right now that you think that you don't have? What you'll find is that you can actually go without those things. And when you tune into the frequency of your true soul desire, your source desire, which is dropping through from the quantum, that desire holds a higher light quotient, and it's not going to come with attachment. It actually is going to spark the inner child. That's how you know. That's how you know. The inner child is overjoyed for the possibility of that unfolding, not going, well, I don't have it right now. Doesn't care that it doesn't have it right now. It's excited and thrilled at how it's going to happen. This is how we have to be reprogramming ourselves when it comes to manifestation. So again, everyone here is a master manifester. Everything you've ever experienced, you created. These things vibrated in and they vibrated out. They vibrated in and they vibrated out like a symphony. You have created your own symphony. You are the orchestra director, is what I'm seeing. You're just like this. And then energy, literally, you're like this, and energy is just following your command. That's you. Doesn't matter if you like it right now or you don't like it. If you could first acknowledge, well, I created it, I must be powerful on some level. That's going to give you a lot of your God spark back. Not that you ever lost it, but the awareness of that power. Okay. Let me tune into, okay, someone says something I want to tune into. I want nothing to do with society, just my family, growing food, and off grid. That's okay if it's coming from mastery and true soul desire. And this is what we mean. Energetically, when I'm tuning into the vibration of folks, when they're like, I'm just going to go off grid, I want nothing to do with anybody, it's usually coming from an unhealed place. You're trying to escape something. If I'm mastered within myself, I could be anywhere. I could be within society. I could be in a forest. I could be in a shopping mall. I could be at home. I could be in a restaurant. I could be growing food. These ascension blueprints are the total union of duality, of polarities. It's no longer about, I need to tap into my monk mind and become a Buddha and get the hell away from everybody. It's, I'm going to embody that consciousness wherever I am. I am. I embody that consciousness, that spirit wherever I am. And so again, there's nothing wrong with a desire to experience more nature and maybe have some more space and grow your own food and do all of these beautiful things and returning back to these primordial ways of being, these ancient ways of being that keep us connected with the spirit and the essence of Gaia and community and family. But if you're trying to do it from a frequency of hate for something else, it's not that it won't happen, but it comes with other